In modern beef production systems, the key to a profitable enterprise is the ability to provide consistent quality of product while meeting market demands at low cost. Stud breeders and commercial producers have specific markets to satisfy, and one of the most effective and cost-efficient ways to do this is through the use of the right genetics.
The way we are in the world having to compete, we have to use every tool at our disposal, and the suite of tools that's available in Australia are excellent, and by using genetics it means that people can gain advantages. They can breed animals which are more efficient, they can breed animals that grow faster, they can breed animals that have got a better carcass type. So it's really important to use that information to add it to your management and your nutrition to deliver a consistent, better product. And genetics, as I say, are extremely important in that process.
Since 1985, the breed plan system has facilitated the use of estimated breeding values, or EBVs, to select animals with suitable genetic potential to make real improvements in particular traits. The commercial provider of breed plan is the Agricultural Business Research Institute, ABRI, backed up by the research workhorse, the Animal Genetics and Breeding Unit, AGBU. A major funder of these tools has been Meat and Livestock Australia, MLA.
By just visually inspecting or looking at an animal, be it a sire or a dam, we don't have much of an indication of how well the progeny are going to perform. So what we need is an estimate of the breeding value or an estimate of the progeny value of that animal, hence an estimated breeding value, or what we commonly use in the industry as EBV. It's an acronym. It stands for exactly that. It's an estimate of the breeding value of an animal. By using an EBV, we can therefore predict how the progeny are going to perform much better than just by visual inspection.
EBVs are based on physical measurements made on live cattle or carcasses in conjunction with information from the animal's pedigree and measurements taken from related traits. This data is processed using the Group Breed Plan Evaluation System to derive an EBV and accuracy level for each particular trait across a herd.
Breed Plan uses information about the animals themselves. It uses information about the relatives of that animal, so we need the pedigree information. It combines all that information about the individual animal and the animals within its pedigree. It also uses information about characteristics or traits that are related. So a 400-day weight contributes information to the birth weight of the animal. Then by using a very sophisticated and quite complicated calculation system within a computer-based system, it comes up with an estimated breeding value for that animal.
Generally, EBVs have been developed for any characteristic that has some economic significance for the supply chain or the consumer. Some breed societies now publish over 20 EBVs. The evolution of EBVs for various traits has developed over the last 2 decades.
In 1985, we released Breed Plan to the industry, and since then the take-up of this technology has been quite widespread within the seed stock industry. What it's shown us is that in the early days we made rapid progress for growth traits, and then about 1990 we started to bring in the first carcass and fertility EBVs, and again we saw an increase in the gains for those particular traits. And in the late 90s, when there was an upgrade of Breed Plan to what they call the version 4.1, this gave an introduction of IMF for marbling, and also a better carcass model adjusted to a 300 kilogram carcass weight, which fully integrated all the carcass information. And so we've seen good genetic trends for all traits in the last 20 years. Some breeds have put pressure downwards on birth weight, and that's been reflected in the genetic trends for birth weight in that breed.
Genetic trends for economically important traits such as weight continue to increase, while some breeds have been able to hold traits such as birth weight constant, despite a strong association between these two traits. This can only be achieved by using good genetic estimates for such a trait, which in this case is the birth weight EBV. Brian Sundstrom, National Field Coordinator for Breed Plan, has seen the uptake and use of EBVs increase exponentially since their introduction in 1985.
Well, if we look at it, I think in two aspects. One is how the seed stock or stud industry has taken it up, and then secondly how the bull buyers, the commercial industry, has taken it up. So if we start with the seed stock industry, if you take the main British breeds in southern areas, there's now about 90% of the cows in the bigger herds are in breed plans. That's a very high uptake. As far as the bull buyers go, the sort of surveys we've done with them shows that round about 2/3 of bull buyers use the figures when they buy bulls. And of those, half the people would use them very intensively. They wouldn't buy a bull without figures, and they wouldn't buy them without having a really close look at it. Those breeders who are in more intensive situations, who are breeding for very set markets that pay premiums for the right stock, very clearly they get signals back that if they don't have the right genetics, they're losing money. So they're very much into it. The others have a look at the figures a bit and do a bit of both. And there are some people who are not into this high-tech stuff, but we really think it's still a pretty good uptake.